Hello, everyone. I'm Sign1News anchor Martha Anger. Here's a quick look at the top trending stories making headlines today. If you post an interesting comment during this update, we may add it at the bottom of the screen. Today, Apple TV Plus announced it will premiere its new animated series, Deafo, starting Friday, January 7th. The three-part series is based on the New York Times bestseller by the same name. Deafo follows young Cece, who is deaf, as she loses her hearing and finds her inner superhero. She finds that going to school and making new friends can be tough, especially since she wears a bulky hearing aid on her chest. But with a little help from her superhero alter ego, Deafo, Cece learns to embrace what makes her extraordinary. The voice of Cece is played by Lexi Finnegan, who is also deaf. Here's your first sneak peek at the trailer.
Beep, boop. Hello? Do you think my hearing aids make me look funny?
I don't see a problem.
Are you deaf?
I gotta follow my own path.
You can call me Deafo. Oh no! Prepare for a monstrous makeover, my deaf friend. Stop! Yee-haw!
Cece can hear Mrs. Sinkelman all over the school.
Wow, that's impressive. Where is Mrs. Sinkelman now?
She just flushed.
Oh my gosh.
Woohoo! Mrs. Sinkelman is coming. Go back to your seats.
That was awesome. You're a hero.
I am Deafo.
So cute. The National Weather Service is warning people who live in parts of the Midwest, Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin, that they need to brace for the possibility of additional severe winter storms and tornado threats. The agency says this forecast is unprecedented for this region this late in the year, and some areas are already seeing destructive weather. Right now, hurricane-force winds are wreaking widespread havoc across the Rockies and Plains. Nearly 300,000 people are without power across 6 states. Over 80 million people are under wind alerts from the storm, and over 35 million are under high wind warnings. As always, Sign1News will post any emergency press conferences that include sign language for viewers to share with family and friends who may be in the path of the storms. As part of a newly entered guilty plea deal, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin admitted guilt in the civil rights case against him in federal court. Chauvin confirmed to prosecutors he continued to hold George Floyd on the ground under his knee even after he became unresponsive, and eventually led to Floyd's death. Chauvin was convicted of murdering Floyd earlier this year and is currently serving more than 20 years in state prison. And now federal prosecutors have agreed to seek a 25-year prison sentence to be served concurrently as part of the plea deal. The U.S. Navy just announced it will start discharging troops who do not get vaccinated against COVID-19. and the discharge will take place as soon as possible. However, sailors who previously refused to get vaccinated but have since changed their minds will be able to remain in uniform. The majority of Army troops have been fully or partially vaccinated, but the Air Force has already discharged 27 service members who wouldn't get vaccinated. Historians are hoping to gain new insight into the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy now that the Biden administration has released 1,500 pages of secret documents. The documents are filled with all sorts of intriguing details, like a Polish driver in Australia claimed he listened in on Russian passengers talking about a plot to pay $100,000 to kill President Kennedy. A Nicaraguan claiming he saw the president's killer, Lee Harvey Oswald, being paid $6,500 by Russians. And then Oswald entered Mexico, claiming he was a photographer, and phoned the Soviet embassy to ask for a visa so he could go to Odessa, USSR. All of this confirming to conspiracy theorists who have long believed Oswald did not act alone, and he may have been backed by Cuba, Russia, and the mafia. Parents, listen up. The pandemic has hit the child care industry hard. Across the country, roughly 10% of child care programs have closed, and more than 10% of child care workers have left the industry during the pandemic, driven out by closures, furloughs, and low wages. President Biden's Build Back Better plan would invest close to $400 billion in child care, boost wages, and guarantee middle-class families pay no more than 7% of their income on child care. But parents need help now, with 84% saying they feel overwhelmed by child care costs and nearly 20% having to quit their jobs because of it. Actor Ben Affleck made an appearance on the Howard Stern show this week and opened up about his alcohol addiction, blaming his drinking on his marriage to fellow actor Jennifer Garner. Affleck and Garner split up in 2015 after 10 years of marriage, and Affleck says if they were still together, he'd probably still be drinking because he felt trapped. He says the only reason he stayed in the marriage was because of their 3 children. He's now dating his ex-fiancée, Jennifer Lopez. And finally, check out this amazing video captured off the coast of California by researchers aboard a deep-sea vessel. They captured images of a rarely seen 6-inch barrel-eye fish. This fish can rotate its 2 glowing green eyes upward to see right through its own forehead. And by looking up, the barrel-eye fish can stealthily swim below its prey before attacking. Wow! Sign1News will be broadcasting live updates Monday through Friday. Then this Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, join us for a live panel of diverse guests to discuss the hot topics of the week. A big thank you to our Sign1News app supporters. You help make this broadcast happen. You can download the Sign1News app by heading to the App Store or Google Play Store on your smartphone, and you can also watch on Apple TV, Amazon, and Roku.